Rain was falling hard that morning, cold, angry rain that slapped the pavement outside. The Monarch Hotel like it had something to prove. Inside, Jasmine Parker stood in front of the lobby's glass doors, her reflection staring back at her, uniform soaked, curls damp and eyes tired but determined. She whispered to herself, almost like a prayer, "You've got this, Jazz. It's just a meeting. Probably good news." But deep down, she knew better. For 2 years, she'd cleaned the same rooms, polished the same silver trays, and smiled at the same guests who barely looked her way. She knew every inch of that hotel, but today something felt different. The manager, Mr. Stevens, had called her into his office that morning. No explanation, just a short message through the receptionist. "Mr. Stevens wants to see you immediately." And that was never a good sign. When Jasmine stepped inside his office, the air felt heavy. Mr. Stevens sat behind his glossy marble desk, stirring his coffee with a silver spoon, slow, deliberate circles. The sound of metal against ceramic was the only thing breaking the silence. He didn't even look up. "Sit down, Jasmine." She did. Her heart was racing, but her face stayed calm. Finally, he looked at her, those pale blue eyes colder than the rain outside. "We've had some feedback," he began. "Complaints, actually." Jasmine frowned. "Complaints? About what, sir?" He leaned back, his voice smooth and rehearsed. "Some of our guests have mentioned that you seem distant, unapproachable. They said your attitude makes them uncomfortable." Her jaw tightened. "Unapproachable? Sir, I greet every guest. I smile. I do my job. You can check the records. My rooms are always spotless." He raised a hand, cutting her off. "I'm not saying it's intentional, Jasmine, but perception matters. And unfortunately, the perception isn't good." She looked at him for a long moment, her voice steady but sharp. "Is this about my work or about my skin?" The spoon stopped stirring. The room went silent. Mr. Stevens's lips pressed into a thin line. He didn't answer. He didn't have to. Jasmine's chest felt tight. "So that's it, huh? You're firing me because I don't fit your image." He sighed, pretending to sound regretful. "It's not personal. The hotel has a certain standard. We need staff who reflect that. I hope you understand." She laughed softly, a hollow, bitter sound. "No, Mr. Stevens, I understand perfectly." When she walked out of his office, everything felt blurry. The hallway, the chatter, the faint smell of coffee. It all faded behind the pounding in her ears. By noon, she was standing outside in the rain again, holding a small box with her belongings. Her apron, her gloves, and a photo of her mom tucked inside. No one said goodbye. Not even the co-workers she'd shared lunch breaks with. They just watched her go, eyes full of pity and silence. Jasmine walked until her legs hurt. The city blurred around her, cars splashing through, puddles, people rushing under umbrellas, life moving on like nothing had happened. At the bus stop, a white woman in a business suit stood next to her. The woman glanced at Jasmine's wet uniform, then clutched her purse tighter and took a small step away. Jasmine noticed. She always noticed. But she said nothing. When the bus finally came, she sat in the back, staring out the fogged window. Her reflection looked like a stranger. Her phone buzzed. "Mom. Mom. You okay, baby?" Jasmine. "Yeah, Mom, just tired." But she wasn't tired. She was angry. That night, Jasmine sat in her tiny apartment, staring at her laptop. Her hands hovered over the keyboard. The cursor blinked, waiting, just like she'd waited all her life for things to get better, for someone to see her, to care. But no one ever did. So she started typing. Her words came out like fire. She wrote about the humiliation, the fake smiles, the silent racism hidden behind polite company standards. "They said I didn't fit the image," she typed. "Maybe their image doesn't fit the truth." By the time she finished, tears were running down her cheeks, but they weren't from sadness anymore. They were from release. She hit post. The title read, "They fired me for being black." Then she closed her laptop and went to bed. The next morning, Jasmine woke up to a phone buzzing nonstop. Her inbox was full, hundreds of messages, comments, shares. Her post had exploded overnight. "This is powerful. I've been there too, sis. Stay strong, Jasmine. We're with you." She scrolled, her eyes widening. 10,000 shares, 25,000 likes. People were angry. People were listening. And for the first time in her life, people saw her. Her phone rang again. Unknown number. "Hello? Miss Parker?" a man's voice said. "This is from the corporate office of Monarch Hotels. We saw your post and we'd like to discuss resolving this matter." Her lips curled into a bitter smile. "Oh, now you want to talk?" He hesitated. "We'd like to offer you your position back, with a raise and a public apology." Jasmine laughed quietly. "You don't want me back because I'm good. You want me back because you got caught." "Miss Parker, please." "No," she interrupted. "You fired me because of my skin. You can't fix that with a paycheck." She hung up. Her heart was pounding, but not from fear anymore. From power. For once, she wasn't just surviving, she was fighting back. Outside her window, the rain had stopped. The sky was breaking open, sunlight pushing through gray clouds. She whispered to herself, "This time, they're going to hear me." The morning sun sliced through Jasmine's blinds, painting golden stripes across her face. Her phone was still vibrating. Notifications, emails, missed calls. She rubbed her eyes and opened her laptop. 1.2 million views. Her post wasn't just trending, it was everywhere. TV headlines, podcasts, even Twitter hashtags. Justice for Jasmine. Black and fired. She scrolled through, comments heart racing. "This woman is a hero!" Finally, someone said it. "Shut that hotel down." Her post had turned into a movement overnight. That same morning at the Monarch Hotel, chaos brewed behind glass doors. Reporters crowded outside, cameras flashing, microphones thrust forward. "Mr. Stevens! Do you deny firing an employee due to her race? Sir, how do you respond to the viral post?" Inside, Stevens' face was pale. His phone kept buzzing with calls from corporate. "What the hell did you do, Greg?" The regional director shouted through the speakerphone. "It wasn't about race," Stevens stammered. It was a performance issue. Save it for HR. She's trending worldwide. We're ruined unless we fix this fast." Meanwhile, Jasmine's tiny apartment had become a war zone of emotions. Her mom, Mrs. Parker, was on the phone crying tears of pride. "Baby, you did something brave. But please, be careful." Jasmine smiled softly. "I'm not scared anymore, Mom." A sudden knock at her door interrupted her. When she opened it, a tall woman in a dark suit stood there, holding a camera crew behind her. "Miss Parker, I'm Vanessa Cruz with Channel 9 News. We'd love to interview you live." Jasmine hesitated, clutching her robe. "Live like on TV?" Vanessa smiled warmly. "The whole city's watching. It's time they hear your voice." Cut to TV studio. Bright lights, cameras, makeup brushes. Jasmine sat in front of the lens, hands trembling slightly. Vanessa leaned in. "Just speak from your heart. Don't hold back." The countdown started. 3, 2, 1. Vanessa smiled at the camera. Tonight, we're joined by Jasmine Parker, the woman whose story has captured the nation. Jasmine, tell us, what really happened that day? Jasmine took a deep breath. Her voice shook at first, then grew stronger with each word. "They told me I didn't fit their image. But what they really meant was, I was too black for their comfort. I worked hard. I smiled when I wanted to cry. I gave them my best. And they threw me out like I was invisible. But I'm done being invisible." Vanessa nodded, her eyes glossy. "And what do you want now?" Jasmine's gaze locked on the camera. "Change, real change. Not just for me. For every person who's been told they're not enough just because of the color of their skin." The studio fell silent. The control room was quiet. Even the cameraman blinked away tears. That night, the interview went viral. 10 million views. People were marching in the streets, holding posters that said, "We stand with Jasmine." But fame has a shadow. 3 days later, Jasmine's phone lit up with messages. This time, not all of them kind. "Go back where you belong. You're lying for attention. We know where you live." Her heart dropped. Fear slithered back in like smoke. She looked out her window. A black SUV had been parked across the street for hours. Her hands trembled as she called Vanessa. "I think someone's watching me." Vanessa's voice was calm. "You're not alone, Jasmine. We'll get you security. The truth always scares people who live in lies." That night, Jasmine couldn't sleep. The sound of sirens echoed faintly outside. She sat by the window, staring at the skyline. The same city that once ignored her now couldn't stop talking about her. But somewhere deep inside, she wondered, had she started a war she wasn't ready for? The doorbell rang again. When she opened it, she froze. Standing there was Mr. Stevens. His once slick hair was now a mess. His eyes carried the weight of sleepless nights. "Jasmine, please, I came to apologize." She said nothing, just crossed her arms and waited. "I lost my job," he said, voice cracking. "The company blamed me for everything. My family's getting hate mail. I'm ruined." Her expression didn't change. "You ruined yourself, Mr. Stevens. I just told the truth." He swallowed hard. "I didn't mean for it to go this far. I made a mistake." Jasmine looked him straight in the eyes. "A mistake is forgetting a name. What you did was a choice." He dropped his gaze, tears threatening. "Please tell them I'm not a monster." Jasmine sighed. "You want forgiveness? Then start by changing. Don't ask for peace while others are still fighting for justice." She closed the door, gently but firmly. Later that night, Jasmine sat with her mom on a video call. "You did the right thing," her mom said softly. "I didn't do it to be a hero," Jasmine whispered. "I just wanted to be heard." Her mom smiled. And now the world's listening. Outside, the city lights shimmered. Somewhere in the distance, someone shouted her name. Jasmine looked out the window and smiled faintly. "Let them listen. I'm not done yet." It had been 3 weeks since Jasmine's interview broke the internet. Her face was now everywhere, on billboards, news articles, talk shows. But fame wasn't what she wanted. She wanted change. One afternoon, she sat in a coffee shop, hood up, laptop open. A girl in her 20s walked over shyly. "Are you Jasmine Parker?" Jasmine looked up, surprised. "Yeah, why?" The girl smiled nervously. "I just wanted to say, thank you. I worked at a restaurant where they treated me the same way, but after your story, I spoke up. They fired the manager." Jasmine's eyes softened. "Good for you. Don't ever let them silence you." The girl nodded, tears forming. "You gave me courage." As she walked away, Jasmine realized something. Her voice had become a weapon, and others were learning to use theirs too. That night, Jasmine opened her email, hundreds of messages from people across the country. "I'm a nurse who got bullied for my skin color. I'm a student who was told I didn't belong. Thank you for speaking for us." She sat there, shaking her head, overwhelmed. "These people need more than a story," she whispered. "They need a space." And that's when the idea hit her. She launched a movement called the Bold Voice Project, a community for anyone who'd faced racism, injustice, or discrimination. She poured every dollar she had into building it. Hiring volunteers, creating hotlines, hosting support groups. Within a month, it wasn't just a movement. It was a revolution. News anchors called her the voice of a generation. But behind the spotlight, enemies were watching. One night as Jasmine was leaving her small office, a black car pulled up beside her. The window rolled down. A man in a suit leaned out, a familiar face. "Mr. Stevens." "Jasmine," he said quietly, "we need to talk." She froze. "I told you I'm done talking." "It's not about me." "It's about them," he said, glancing around nervously. "The board wants this to disappear. They're planning something that could ruin you." Jasmine frowned. "Ruin me? For telling the truth?" He nodded. "They've got lawyers, PR firms, fake witnesses. They'll twist your story until you're the villain." Jasmine crossed her arms. "Then I'll fight harder." Stevens sighed. "You don't understand. They don't fight fair." 2 days later, articles started appearing online. Was Jasmine Parker's story fake? The truth behind the hotel scandal. Social media turned ugly. People began to doubt her. Sponsors backed out. Even Vanessa from Channel 9 stopped answering calls. Jasmine sat alone in her office, staring at her phone. Her movement was collapsing in front of her eyes. Tears filled her eyes, but she refused to break. She turned on her camera and went live. The red light blinked. Her face appeared on millions of screens again. They can call me a liar. They can twist my words. But the truth doesn't need defending. It just needs repeating. She looked straight into the camera, eyes fierce. If standing up for myself makes me the villain, then fine. I'll be the loudest villain they've ever seen. The chat exploded with messages of support. We believe you. Stay strong, Jasmine. We're with you. Her voice rose, trembling with emotion. They fired me because I was black, but what they didn't know is you can't fire a voice. You can't silence a movement. We're not just fighting for jobs. We're fighting for respect, for dignity, for every person who's ever been told they don't belong. Her hand trembled as she ended the stream. Outside, cars honked. People were gathering again, chanting her name. Justice for Jasmine! We are the bold voice. Days turned into weeks. The hotel chain issued a public apology. Mr. Stevens appeared beside Jasmine in a press conference, voice cracking as he spoke. What I did was wrong. I see that now. She opened my eyes, and I'll spend the rest of my life fighting for what she stood for. The crowd erupted in applause. Tears streamed down Jasmine's cheeks. She turned to the mic one last time. This isn't about me. It's about us. Every single one of you who ever felt less than enough, you are enough. And you always will be. Later that night, as the city lights shimmered across the skyline, Jasmine stood on her balcony. Her mom called again. Baby, you did it. Jasmine smiled softly. No, Mom, we did it. The camera panned up to the sky, the sound of chants echoing through the streets below. They fired her because she was black, a voiceover whispered. But what she did next changed the world. If Jasmine's story inspired you, don't scroll away, hit subscribe, share this story, and let's keep her message alive. Because one voice can start a fire, but together, we can start a revolution.